All right, so I got into a Twitter argument yesterday. I know what you're thinking. I know, right? So I got into a Twitter argument yesterday. And this was like where I noped out. So we have this person who says Black Women Matter. I blocked them because fuck them, right? Black Women Matter was arguing in a fucking Twitter thread that I somehow was tagged in. I don't even know why. But she said to me, where is this? She said to me this shit, and this made me block her. And then I muted the conversation, and I blocked her, and I was done with it, okay? So she says, I'm not discriminating against trans people. I believe that vulnerable spaces should be sex separated to protect the female sex class. What? This includes everyone born male. Sexual assaults and rape is disproportionately a male human offense. The world is not a perfect or good place. The goal should always be to protection and prevention of sexual and physical abuse. There's no reason why separating by gender when sex proves otherwise. It only makes sense to separate vulnerable by female and male sex, not identity. So basically what this person is saying is that trans women are socialized as men, and therefore every single trans woman on earth just goes out and rapes. Just gonna go out on a rape spree, facts and logic. And therefore you can't have a trans woman ever be anywhere close to, as they would say, a real woman, because they've got a low IQ, right? So I blocked this bitch, and I was like, I'm done, right? But a couple of my followers were like, I'm not done. You've insulted my favorite streamer, that's me, and so I'm going to, defend their honor. So some of my followers went in there, right? And then, okay, so this bitch, tags Buck Angel somewhere. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find it. Okay, so we're talking about Buck Angel, and then this person says, Buck is my internet friend. He even accepts his female reality. Oh my god. Now again, I will get into this in a more whatever, but, and then so this person snitch tags Buck motherfuck, alright? And then he just comes in and says, this bathroom question is gaslighting, period. Gaslighting. The question you pose is gaslighting because the answer has nuance. And no one wants nuance. So it's creating a divide that is unnecessary. So no one wants nuance, right? No one wants nuance. So when I tweet, right, I see this. Someone links me. Hey, Buck Angel's in this thread. And I'm like, what? Because I muted the conversation. The conversation was muted, so I stopped getting the notifications. And then someone DMs me. It's like, oh yeah, we're in an internet argument with Buck Angel now. And I'm like, what the fuck? Right? So I go in there and I see this shit. And so I respond, I quote tweet saying, social reject rich kid gonna try to nuance his way out of supporting rights for his own people, LMAO. Again. So the bathroom question has nuance? No, I'm sorry. There is no nuance. Bathrooms should not be gender segregated. If you think they should, I'm sorry. The year is 2021, not 1312, okay? Get your fucking wild saloon motherfucking ass out of here. You know what we used to do as humans for literally millions of years, right? We would shit, not even in an outhouse. We would just shit. Like we would walk in packs of hunter-gatherers, and if someone had to shit, they would squat over and shit, right? So I'm just saying, we had thousands and thousands and thousands of millions of years of this kind of behavior to automatically at some point claim, oh, we need to segregate the bathrooms. I'm sorry, it's ridiculous. Now, yes, are there people that assault people in bathrooms? Absolutely. But you know what? Statistically, trans women are way more likely, we're talking about 9 times versus 1 time out of 10, more likely to get beaten, killed, or raped in a bathroom, right, if they go in there, because people will see, if they somehow suss you out, they'll try to beat the shit out of you, they'll try to call the police on you, etc., etc. So I, when I was earlier in my transition, often got made fun of or attacked, and not physically but verbally abused going into the bathroom. It made me very uncomfortable, right? Buck Angel says, it's gaslighting. I never went into the bathroom to go on a rape spree. Ooh, we gotta go rape. That's not a thing. That doesn't exist. Right? So Buck Angel decides to quote tweet me, and I want you to understand this, okay? So Buck Angel quote tweets me at 3:45 p.m. That's extremely important. So, Buck Angel says, now I am a social reject rich kid. This is the best insult ever. I actually think they are talking about themselves. Now, if you look at my bedroom, you can very clearly see I am not rich, right? Like, I am, like, you know, I've got a sizable PS1 game collection, but I am not rich by any means, okay? This motherfucker is rich. So this guy is trying to say that I'm somehow a social reject rich kid. I'm in my 20s. I'm like, I fucking have like maybe $1,000 in my bank account if I'm lucky, right? So like, I'm relying on this fucking stimulus package, which by the way, Buck Angel probably won't qualify for because he's got a lot of income going on. So this guy quote tweets me at 3:45 p.m. Okay? So I want you to look at the retweets here and the likes. 2 retweets, 79 likes. All right, not bad. So around this time, I respond and then, you know, I leave it. I go and do something else. Right? I'm like, I have like, a thing I was doing. I wanted to do some stuff yesterday. So I left. I went to go do something else. Little did I know that this guy would quote tweet me a second time 3 hours later. Right? And so like the first one, I guess clearly didn't get enough likes. So this guy quote tweets me a second time. Right, all of a sudden, right, we have a bunch of TERFs in the replies, and I blocked a bunch of them that, like, literally, right, like, I was gone for, like, 6 hours, right, and I, like, look at my Twitter after I'm done with what I was doing. I look at my Twitter, and I scroll through, and my brain is like, no, you know, because I'm seeing, like, 60-year-old grandmas saying that, like, I'm a rapist for suggesting that trans women shouldn't be assaulted, right, and, like, I'm seeing, like, and I'm like, what on earth is going on? Is this because of the Buck Angel thing? Like, what I thought was several, like, maybe at this point, like, 8 hours ago, right? And then I see he tweeted me again. So it's like, okay, interesting. And this one got a lot more attention, right? And so, the shaming me for creating my own space in the world and not being a victim. What does that mean? I was homeless, cracked out, and suicidal. So yeah, I got my, T-slur shit together and made something of myself. Try it sometime. What does that mean? This is like a typical Republican pick yourself up by your bootstraps thing, right? So then a bunch of other people kept saying, trans people aren't poor, poor people are poor. If a trans person is poor, it's not because they can't get hired because they're trans and they get discriminated at every single job opportunity. No. It's not like they can't get hired because, if they do, maybe they'll get killed in the parking lot after work one day. No. That's not why trans people are typically poor, right? 40% of trans people have attempted suicide. It's not because society shuns them. It's just because they're lazy, right? And so I got literally, I'm not even joking, hundreds of notifications over the course of these couple hours of these fucking grandmas telling me that I'm like either a rapist or lazy or like too like, just dumb to get my shit together. And it's like, what? Like, have you ever spoken to a trans person ever, Buck Angel, besides yourself? Chances are, I'm going to be honest, citation needed on that one, because I know thousands of trans people, right? I've been a streamer for a long time. I've got a lot of Twitter followers. I know thousands of trans people. Out of all the trans people I know, right? And I'm not even talking about know on a personal level, just know in general. Out of all the trans people I know, I can maybe count on one hand how many of them make over 50K a year, right? And that's not even rich, right? That's like what should be like a minimum wage poverty like level, right? So I was baffled by this, right? I was so confused, right? I was baffled by this, right? And then I did some thinking, right? And then so I came up with a nuanced argument because I looked at this guy's page and I saw this and I unironically got very sad. So, if you see this image, this guy's pinned tweet, if you look at Buck Angel's fucking page, this guy's pinned tweet, right, is I was born biologically female. I use testosterone to masculinize myself, so I feel more like me. I had a legal sex change, whatever legal means. I don't know what that means, like, whatever. And now live as a male. All male pronouns. I am transsexual and will never be biologically male. But I do live as a male. Simple. Love tranpa. So this guy, literally, his pinned tweet is self-deprecating, self-hating coping mechanisms, right? And then I click on this, and this is the first thing I see. Awesome, but you're not male, right? And then you scroll down and look at a bunch of the other responses, and it's like a bunch of TERFs saying, I'm glad you admit you're not really a man, and then a bunch of people saying you're not a man, right? And it's like, imagine living your life for like however old Buck Angel's life is, 40, 50, 60 years, I don't know how old he is, right? But imagine living your life. And it's like every day you have to cope with the idea that you hate yourself, right? And even when your pinned tweet is, yes, I hate myself, and I know that I hate myself, and I know, and I want you to know that I hate myself, even when that's their pinned tweet, it's still not good enough for bigots. So, I just wanted to say this. So I wrote this a little bit, and I just wanted to talk about it. So this is why no matter how many times Buck Angel wants to deny other transgender people's humanity, it is all for nothing. His pinned tweet is self-hating and referring to himself as things he's not to compromise with bigots. Yet, they will never care. Sad. I hope he gets better. And then I pontificate a little bit more. This is this morning after I thought about it. I empathize with Buck Angel on a personal level. I understand having to keep a mask on to please people you think might be your friends. But what he is unaware of is that we don't give two fucks what bigots think in the first place, right? As this guy says, and I could give two fucks what you think. By the way, he should have said couldn't. If you could give two fucks, like what does that mean? If you couldn't, then that implies that you have like a low, fuck give threshold. So this guy doesn't know basic grammar, but that aside, right? So I say, and we don't give two fucks what bigots think in the first place, and we won't compromise them with them at all. Him using his platform to direct hatred, vitriol, and attacks against poor transgender folks with a small fraction of his audience is just a way for him to try and sit at the cool kids' lunch table. It's the adult equivalent of, but not me, right? So that's my little pontification. Because this guy not only was going after me, right? This guy was going after a lot of my followers. He was like just harassing a bunch of fucking people for no reason and directing thousands of TERFs to go harass people for no reason. Right? And so this is why I'm gonna turn my heating off because it's starting to get a little warm. But this is why I don't like Buck Angel. Right? I had known Buck Angel was like this, right? But like I'd never personally interacted with him because why would I? You know what I mean? I've never personally interacted with him. So, like, for me to just, like, mute a thread, right, and then to go, like, live my own life, right, for, like, 6 whatever hours, and then I check Twitter, right, and I'm like, oh, whoa, right, as I check Twitter, and I'm like, whoa, buddy, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I shit you not, got hundreds of motherfuckers, like, saying I'm a rapist or something, and it's like, what? Bitch motherfucker, I've been sexually assaulted before. People have tried to rape me before. It's not comfortable. Right? I can tell you, it's not comfortable. I would never even dream of doing that to another person. But these people think because I'm a trans woman that all of a sudden I'm like an evil primate. Oh, must rape. Like, and it's like, what? What? Right? And so, the idea that this motherfucker would quote tweet me 3 hours later again for the second time to direct more hatred and vitriol against me because his first quote tweet didn't get that much traction. To me, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And again, people cite this guy as like a trans mentor of some kind. He's not a mentor to anybody. What he does is he teaches people to hate themselves. It's unhealthy, both mentally and physically. And this is why I've got a problem with people that platform Buck Angel, right? And I don't want to get too much into that. Right? But it's like, this guy is not our friend. He is an enemy. He is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Just like Blair White, who goes on her YouTube show and says, I'm a real trans person because I'm cute and sexy and I got a facial surgery. Everyone else who's ugly, they're not really trans. They're LARPers. It's like, what? First of all, who are you to talk about people's looks, motherfucker? I'm way more attractive than you, Blair White. Second of all, the idea that your gender is based on how attractive you are? What? What? Like, if that's the metric for what your gender is, then there's a lot of cis women that won't be cis women. I guess they're men all of a sudden. Right? There's a lot of cis men that I guess they're not men anymore, they're women all of a sudden. If it's based on your level of attraction, on whether or not you're the gender you say you are, then what? You know, like, what? It doesn't make any sense, right? So these people are not mentors, right? They're not like shining lights or beacons. These people are wolves in sheep's clothing. They have made careers by being the token tran who shits all over other poor transgender people for a little bit of that sweet, sweet capitalism. And that's why Buck Angel's like, oh, you're lazy. I did something with my life. You're also like 60 years old, dude. I'm in my 20s. Like, you were saying you're cracked out and suicidal. Like, okay. Well, I'm literally, like, younger than you were at that point in your life. So it's like, what? Like, so the argument doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. These people are fucking ridiculous. They're ludicrous. And again, I didn't have Buck Angel harassing me on Twitter on my bingo card. But goddamn, I wish I did. Because it was fucking funny. So that's my segment on Buck Ass Motherfuck. Still plenty of time to get cracked out. Yeah, as long as I pick myself up by my bootstraps afterward, you know? I'll crack out all day. Crack out and crack on. Anyway, how's everyone going? That's not what it means, Bodan. Like, I appreciate you for trying, but that's not what it means. Buck Angel spoke at our trans conference in NYC. He spoke on being Anne. Buck Angel spoke on a trans conference in NYC last year. He was odd, but not good odd. I bet. The guy's a freak. Like, he hates his own people. It's bizarre. You know, it's bizarre. And then when you criticize him, right? When you criticize him for attacking transgender people, it's like, why do you hate trans people? You know? Like, what? You're the one who's saying that trans people are all lazy and shouldn't be allowed to go into bathrooms? And when we say that you're weird for saying that, all of the, oh, why do you hate? It's the same thing Republicans do. Republicans are allowed to call brown people evil, you know? And instead of brown people, I should say, you know, people of color, of all kinds of, like, races and descents, right? But they call them evil. They're all Muslims. They're all anti-American. And then they turn around when AOC responds and goes like, hey, by the way, you're a little nutso. And then they turn around and go like, oh, why do you hate? Oh. What the fuck is wrong with these people? You know, like, these people are nuts.